see the scene clean, nigga, no flaws, no witness, cold ending. As I proceed to gripping wood wheel and corner bending. Now it's the last sentence, last word of your ending. No pretending, I don't fabricate or fantasize. Before I execute, I meditate and strategize. Sing your mama roses, hold the pain to passerby. I get the bread, that's the only way I'm pacified.
Carolina born from a Carolina breed.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's your boy Yada Dollar. I got my homegirl.
It's LT.
Hey, we got this thing popping. It's the Sweet Podcast. Sound wisdom examining everyone's perspective. Today we're gonna talk about a little bit of hip hop, a little bit of entrepreneurship, and a whole lot of inspiration. I think the topics we had touched on was
What are we talking about today?
the thought process that can change your reality, how your thought process can change your reality,
Okay.
and the hip hop version. What's the hip hop one?
Hip hop. We're going with when will trap music die?
When will trap music die?
Will it ever die?
Or in the individual's life?
When will we outgrow trap music?
Yeah, there we go. I like the way that one framed. Alright, so let's start off with the thinking process.
All right. Positive mindset.
Positive mindset. You sound like you were about to say something.
Well, the idea came from, I was watching a video and basically it was a motivational video trying to teach a new skill set, and how in order for you to envision success for yourself, you're gonna have to change how you envision what success is in yourself in order to achieve success. And he was hitting on some good points.
Okay. I think I was gonna say I can think about my situation, and I think about manifest destiny in the sense that you start off with a thought or your imagination, and then in reality you execute the first step or the first plan to make that become something tangible. You know what I mean? So you got any examples of how that worked in your life?
Well, I think for me, just getting older and trying to grow up, you have to change how your mindset on things. You have to change how you move and how you operate. Once you see something you want to achieve, you gotta change your ways in order to get there, and sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow.
I got you. I feel like in a few situations you can learn from other people's mistakes and see how they didn't plan, or you can kind of be forced in a situation where you kind of wanted to live your life a certain way, but you was in a situation where you couldn't deviate left or right from it, and you was in a structured environment, and that made you progress in a certain way. And granted, you might not have liked when you was going through that process. Once you look back, when you're standing at your end goal, and you saw how rigorous and strict that might have been to get you where you were at, I feel like you can go forward and kind of implement that in different ways, and it becomes easier. Almost like when you fail, failures can be looked at as a lesson learned to make you better for the next time you try, or you can take it to where it knocks you down and you don't feel like you want to get up again. So it's that thinking process of always trying to take the positive and amplify and magnify that.
Well, I'm a big fan of fake it till you make it. So I think it's that theory, and now I think about it, even when you get ready for a job or a situation, they tell you to always wear your power suit, so you can envision power. So when you making power moves, you feel good in your power suit. Or when you pick up the phone, they tell you to smile, because you can hear it in the voice. It's like you faking success until you finally reach success.
Yeah, I definitely feel what you're saying when you talk about that. And I feel like it's has to do a lot with status in our society. I feel like as well. Like for instance, your car, your suit, your watch for a man. I feel like all these different things play a role in how you perceive. And if you have stepped on some of those things or come in the wrong situation with the wrong one of those, you can be looked at in a way that's not necessarily true. And I mean, again, I'm all about breaking stereotypes, but at the same time, um, certain situations you want to make sure you understand what's at stake and what's going on.
I understand that.
Hmm.
And I think what people have to realize about stereotypes, I hate to say this little word, we build up stereotypes for a defense system. It just helps our brain like process things quicker. Not saying that all stereotypes are positive or good.
Hmm.
It's just our natural reaction as humans.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I definitely think stereotypes is something that not everybody applies to, but everybody applies to almost inadvertently because it's plenty of situations where you got to analyze who you dealing with, how they're dealing with people around them or you, and then you go for it from there. Unfortunately, we have media, and
That doesn't help.
that doesn't help. That's the
Mm-mm.
point I was gonna get at. And then uh, when I say media, I'm more sort of talking about news, but also like in movies, you have certain role cast types that
we got
certain
books.
people can't seem to break out of.
In school, you always got the bad person is the black person and the good person's always the white person. So you driving in stereotypes at a young age that shouldn't even be there. So, I challenge people to like go outside their stereotypes and think, why do I think this person is a threat?
Gotcha.
Ah.
Bean. Let me see hold on, what we got going on? Hip hop. And the expiration date on trap music.
Now, I want to say a PSA on this.
PSA.
I love trap music.
Bean.
I am a Jeezy, T.I., Gucci, Yo Gotti.
Mm-hmm. The pioneers of the trap.
I am that fan.
Word.
I love me some Jeezy first album. I'm not even gonna lie. Shout out to DJ Cannon.
Yeah, Cannon.
Yeah. I am a fan.
Word. Cannon steps back.
But how many songs can we take of just the same subject? Really?
And see, that's the thing. When we was talking off camera about it, I was speaking like on the individual standpoint, because I personally think it would be weird if I pull up to the light and it's a 40-plus-year-old man listening to like
I think you said NBA YoungBoy.
like NBA YoungBoy, yeah. So, but at the same time, it's to each his own. Just because you find that music intriguing or something you want to listen to at a certain moment, don't necessarily mean that's how you live in your life. So I completely get it, cause I'm two-sided in the sense that when I have my son in the car, it's certain music that I'm listening to, compared to when I don't have my son in the car. I'm not gonna say it's more freedom, but it's just I know what filter that's on my brain that I'm not gonna allow this music because I'm listening to it right now to affect my thought process.
But how you know he's not listening to that?
I don't necessarily, because he can come home and tell me about who they
His
who they talking
friends,
who they listening to at school. But at least I know for just my control of when like
What you putting in?
yeah, what I'm putting in. And the only reason why I speak like that is because I feel like I can vouch for how rap affected me at a younger age compared to if I wasn't allowed to listen to it. And not saying it wasn't a bad thing. I mean, I love who I grew into, but at the same time, it's a lot of things that came or comes with rap when you at a young age and you don't necessarily have somebody to put that filter on what you got going on. It can kind of soak into your brain and start molding you in good ways and bad ways.
Well, that just made me think about, so do we need more genres of hip-hop music?
Absolutely. And it's sad that in rap, it was kind of like just rap. And
Well,
it kind of turned into
It
booty
morphed
music.
into so much, because it started off with, we had New York spitting on the streets.
Yeah.
And then you had, Kool and the Gang. And that was more of like a fun, we're partying hip-hop. You know, a hip-hop, a hippie.
Yeah, that was Grandmaster Flash
Flash.
and I
Then-
think Furious 5 or something like that.
Then you went to like the Run DMC, Roxanne type era.
Yeah, and they was about I would say partying and expressing yourself. But then that's when if you fast forward when it started coming down south, I think about like Luke, and then like the booty music and stuff, and then it transitioned into the strip clubs in Atlanta, which transitioned into trap music. You know what I mean? Like it. So one thing about trap music I can't take away from it is if you're around it or if you live in that life, that's the music you're gonna make. You can't expect somebody, I guess, from such dire situations to come up with like some old ribbon in the sky type music.
But I'm saying, even Stevie Wonder didn't come from the best situation and came out with Ribbon in the Sky.
Now, think about how beautiful a ribbon in the sky is, and then think about the fact that Stevie Wonder can't see.
Exactly. So, brothers in the hood should be able to come up with some beautiful stuff too.
So that's crazy.
He can't even see and had a ribbon in the sky.
That is
He
crazy.
didn't even know that could float. Someone had to tell him, yo,
Yo.
you know a ribbon can float, right?
And I don't even know how he came up with that one, but yeah, that type stuff.
And that's exactly why.
And then to further your point too, that's the difference between like music from back in the day and what you had to do to get heard compared to music now and what I feel like you got to do to get heard. One of the things that blew my mind from back in the day was Nas when we got hold to some mixtape. It was like the Lost Tapes before the Lost Tapes ever came out. I'm talking about years before. And it had two songs on there. One song was Project Windows with Ron Isley, and the other song was Belly Button Windows. Right?
Okay.
And we talking about Nas. Now, this is somebody who allegedly dropped out of school in like 7th or 8th grade or something like this. I mean, he wrote a whole rap song about being a fetus in his mom's stomach looking at the world through her belly button. And then I think about like his environment and where he grew up at Queensbridge, from what I know, you know what I mean? It's a pretty rough area. So the further your point, it's like
It's doable.
it's doable, but I don't think that's necessary for. I don't think it can happen for everybody. Like those are LeBrons of the situation.
I agree with that. I remember, our parents, they could listen to the same music that they enjoy at their age with us in the car and not feel embarrassed too much, because, hey, let's be real, some of them lyrics of them songs were real sexual.
Yeah.
But I feel like I really don't have that ability to do that with the music nowadays with my child. Or even with my parents and not feel like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. I gotta turn the station. I just feel like it's a void there.
One thing we didn't realize too is throughout the generations, the more we either become conservative in our music listenability, or how loose we become. I guess my point is, if your mom was riding around with you in the car listening to like Millie Jackson, that would allow you to receive or listen to a Too Short earlier in your life, or a little bit later on in your life. That could turn into a Trina, or turn into a you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's a slippery slope if you don't have a filter on it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I picked the music I listen to, specifically with my son in the car, because I just want him to be more aware of live instrumentation. I know if at least through first or kindergarten through fifth grade, like he's in, I could kind of have more control over the music he listened to compared to sixth through eighth grade, where I just think about my situation. That's when everybody had their own set of headphones and like Walkmans or whatever, and now it's phones. It's like, so I just feel like it's probably that's like one of the ages where it's just gonna become that much more important. I feel like to have a filter on in place, I guess. You know what I mean?
But then what you left listening to?
It's music out there. I just don't want him to necessarily put it like this. I feel like the music that's on the radio right now, for the most part, to an influential mind, is poison.
It is.
You know what I mean? So I just try to get him turned off on that frequency and on that sound. Unfortunately, that might sound crazy from my perspective, or like I'm cutting him out of black culture or something like that. I don't feel like that at all. I just feel like it's more.
Well, you gotta question yourself: is that really black culture, or that's what they want us to believe is black culture?
Ooh, and that's a whole nother conversation. Cause I ain't even gonna lie, Lee. Like we were just talking about it on camera. It's a whole lot of negative that come with that.
It's layers. It's like who really benefits from our kids and ourselves listening and trying to portray this lifestyle and this music.
Yeah, and that goes back to that show last week with Lil Wayne on it, when you seen around his neck like he had the Percocet chain like dangling. And I was just thinking like, man, to be influential little 12, 13-year-old and you see that, that's like,
now you trying to
wow.
wonder what's Percocet? Where did
Wow.
get some Percocet from? What
Wow.
Percocet
Yeah,
drug?
first time you come across it, you gonna think, man, is this gonna make me rap like Lil Wayne?
I hope not. Because
Like
Lil
that.
Wayne had a transition, boy, from the Lil Wayne we knew at 15.
Oh yeah, he always had talent though, but he definitely had that transition. You're right. It's all growth for him though. It was all, to me, it was all the up, all the increase on flow capability. You don't think so? No.
It might have been growth on the lyrics, but I think the toll it took on him mentally was damaging. And we're seeing the aftermath right now.
To me, at least for the way he looked and how he get down with, like, you know what I mean, the drugs or whatever, I just feel like he ain't really no different than any other child prodigy
Damaged.
type that's been under the limelight and not really ready. One thing I feel like helps you become a better man is a normal childhood. You know what I mean? A normal childhood where you ain't, if you all the way on the top end of the spectrum, like he slid it in there, his first car was like a bubble out Lexus.
I mean, he was like 13. What,
Yeah,
13
and I bet you this, you gotta think like that. And I'm just saying, for his situation and where he was at, riding around in that, is different from when, if you just in a situation where everybody riding around in these cars, but it puts you up at the top on a society status level, and you gotta, it's a certain pressure there to maintain that once you get it at an early age. Nobody wants to fall off.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's
true.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation today. My home girl, LT on deck, man. We talked about everything that has to do with entrepreneurship, inspiration, and hip hop. Sweet podcast. Sound wisdom examining everyone's perspective. Tuesdays and Thursdays, better watch for the sweet.
Hit the subscribe button too.
Hit the subscribe.
Welcome to Carolina where them boys stack cheese.